as we said earlier, that the questions and the comments that you heard today, they were compiled and contributed by several members of the citizenry of Barbados. If we, as Kimar is saying, in Australia, a place like Australia, there was debate on these kinds of issues. We do not have an official opposition in government. And so a forum like this is very, very important, where we have the citizens contributing and sharing, let's have public debate about it. And that's what is happening today. So at this point, I would open the floor for any questions from the media.
My question I just want to answer because I understand that Bernice had a number of questions in relation to the ID, or Trident ID card that were answered. So I just wanted to get either Mrs. Short or simple, but Mrs. Short would just mention it. What exactly y'all wanted? Was it to review just the deadline or get it pushed out, or is it because I all just wanted to just cancel or continue?
But you got your question answered. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, sir.
You have a group of people here gathered. Are there more perhaps who names that you either gathered or will sign on to this particular petition? And if so, how many?
Well, it's at the moment, it's not a petition. It is, we've just been asking citizens their views on it. And we have the people who are logged on, I think 124 persons logged on, watching online. And then we have those that are on Zoom as well. I don't know the numbers on Zoom at the moment, but it is coming from the citizens of Barbados.
You mentioned that the January 31st date you view as too soon. Do you have a reasonable start time if this is implemented?
Let me respond.
I would respond to that. I don't think that it would be, if it's not for us to set a new deadline, the important thing to recognize is that as of today is what, the 27th?
26th.
In 5 days, January comes to an end. And you are indicating to citizens that the use of our whole ID card comes to an end. But this is taking place against a whole set of confusion. I would use the word confusion because the confusion has been occasioned by the various comments that we have heard from government officials. You were reminded just now that we've had 3 ministers in recent succession. In addition to that, there is no way that you or I can go and find up-to-date, accurate information as of now. Therefore, we are saying, based on the several concerns, and you asked about numbers, if you are aware on, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there's the Marcia Week show, and on any night you have over 400, 500 persons expressing their concerns. So the point is there is a significant number of persons who, and this is just one mechanism, who up to this point in time do not know exactly what are the implications of the card. So I think that it is important that an initiative as important as this, something as, I would say, intrusive in terms of what can have for the citizen, individual citizen, needs to be properly explained. And this comes against the background, my final comment, against a background of continuous attacks, which suggests that the security systems, which form part of any infrastructural arrangement of digital management of digital information at the level of government and in the private sector, is less than we would want it to be. So now you are putting this card within that context. And so citizens have a lot of questions to be answered by the government, and we believe that it is incumbent on government to answer those, given the very serious nature of this initiative.
I think too, against the background of the World Economic Forum, this is a serious matter. This is not something to be taken lightly just by the government of Barbados. The World Economic Forum has indicated significant risk. This is the organization that founded the idea of a digital ID for every citizen on the planet. And they have expressed emphatically on an internal document the risks, significant risks, in terms of security, in terms of persecution, in terms of discrimination. And given what has transpired over the past 3 years during the pandemic, where the trust in governments has declined dramatically, we are not about to trust any government on the planet. That is the reality of 8 billion people on the planet, not just the people in Barbados, the people in the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, China, Africa are all resistant to the implementation of anything by the governments without proper explanation and proper identification of what is happening. And so we must be clear on the fact that the concerns we are raising have been actually sounded by the World Economic Forum. All right, so let's put it in that context as well.
Marcia, can I just share one comment?
Yes, and then if they have.
Yes. And he's mentioned the World, what is it?
World Economic Forum.
But I want to speak to United Nations
Oh, yes.
Sustainable Development Goals. And I just read this for you. And it relates to, it says the goal of Target 16.9 of the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2030 is to provide legal identity and birth registration for all, underscoring the importance of comprehensive civil registration. But inadequate governance of digital ID systems can worsen the shortcomings of the current system. And that is a caution. I think this sums up a lot of the concerns that Barbadian citizens have. And I give you the journey some homework to want to explore what are some of those serious concerns.
Before Jonathan, do we have any other questions? Mr. Graves? Farcom? No other questions? Jonathan, you have a comment. Can you come here just so that those who are online will be able to hear and to see you? Thank you.
Right. I just wanted to say, in regards to the deadline, I think there is no rush. There shouldn't be a rush when it comes to the concerns of the citizens in terms of alleviating any doubts that we may have in regards to our security as a result of the digital ID coming about. And I think once our concerns are addressed and we are thoroughly informed of the consequences or what impact will be of the digital IDs, then you could then look at a date to move forward. Thank you.
We want joint select.
Kimar, can you come at the podium just so that I know we just have a couple more minutes and then so we'll be closing off in about 5 minutes. Go ahead.
My firm answer is that the deadline just can't work, and you would ask not for another date, but a joint select committee of parliament and an invitation expressed to various interest groups to get feedback into the legislation before the legislation is passed. So that is our simple and fair request to both the Ministry of Science and Technology and to the government at large. Because as we've said here before, if the government goes ahead with the January 31st date with the legislation on its current structure, we're very well prepared to take legal and court action. If need be, come January 31st, and the government does not go back the deadline, I offer the public of Barbados a joint select committee of parliament and take our concerns in a very serious way. Thank you.
I'm sorry about that, as Mr. Franklin, who has the flu that is going around, but he just sent me a question. It was his intention to be here, and I would just like to give him that opportunity. Let me just read the question before. Just give me a second, please. The question Mr. Franklin has is, he said, could the government point out which law empowers them to declare that the current ID card is expired?
It's invalid.
Could the government point out which law empowers them to declare that the current ID card is expired? It's a good one to end with. We want to take this time to thank the media for attending. I know those that could not be here asked us to send them a recording and pictures, etc. And we do have a copy of the questions that can be WhatsApped or emailed to the media. So if you provide us with your information, we'll be able to send that to you. And we are going to be open for any other questions or clarification that you may have. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Thanks to those who are watching on WhatsApp from different countries. I know your concern is what's going to happen. You're watching Barbados and figuring what's going to happen in your country. And we're setting the path. We're setting the path for you. And those of you who are watching on YouTube and Facebook, thank you for joining. And we hope we were able to capture everything that you're asking this morning. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.